joy and touched with wonder, separate hands but mingled hearts, giving thanks and sing praises for the love that calls us on from our many different places. We are gathered into one. We are gathered in our sorrow. We are gathered in our fear, in our pain and in our worry, in our anger and our tears, as we turn to one another with our gifts and with our care. Our community is strengthened through the faith and hope we share. We are gathered in commitment to a planet that is whole. Works of justice, acts of kindness, bless the world and heal our souls. As our voices join together, may our song of peace resound. May we offer in abundance all the grace that we have found.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. I am the Reverend Rachel Lonberg, and it is my joy to serve as the minister here at People's Church in Kalamazoo. And I want to welcome everyone here this morning. A welcome to my dear People's people, but also to the people joining us, the Michigan UUs. So from Ann Arbor and the congregations that gather in Mount Pleasant and in Brighton. We are all here together to begin the year. It is a joy to be together. And my people know that I talk a lot about joy, how I think cultivating joy is a necessary antidote to depression and disconnection and despair. And so I want us all to linger for a moment in the joy of this gathering. If we are trying to gather in the flesh, this wouldn't happen, at least not in this way. It would be a long drive for us all to gather in whatever the midpoint would be in Michigan. And we could not have you here in People's Church because this room that I'm in, our common space where we worship, couldn't hold all of you. At this moment, there's 178 different devices connected. We would not fit. So I am so grateful that you're here, and I invite you to take a moment at some point in the service, if you're joining us by video, to scroll through either the list of names or the tiny Brady Bunch style Zoom boxes to just see all of these people, most of whom you don't know, who you share a connection to, you're connected to by being mostly in Michigan, though not everyone is who's with us today, by shared values. These are strangers that you don't yet know, who are with you in spirit on some important things that bind us together. We are all in covenant together. We all recognize the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We all know that we are wrapped in a love, an interdependent web that surrounds us all. So come, let us gather and find this bubble of joy in a time that is not always as joyful as we wish it would be. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura McClellan, and I'm from the Sunday Services Committee at People's Church. People's Church is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association and part of a tradition of liberal religion. Here, our mission is to be a beloved community, embracing and serving our diverse world. This morning, I would like to extend a special welcome to our fellow UUs from the congregations in Brighton, Mount Pleasant, and Ann Arbor. We are so glad to have you here. After the service, we will have a coffee hour, 15 minutes of conversation in breakout groups, and we would be delighted to have you join us. This morning's words of welcome come from Reverend Dan Lambert. You are welcome here, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background. You are welcome here to join us as we proclaim worth in our spiritual journeys. You are welcome to join us as we sing songs that uplift our very beings. You are welcome to join us in community as we learn, live, and love together. All are welcome as we worship that which gives us each meaning and value. No matter what you call this place, this hour, or this gathering of people, we worship as one body, illuminated by the light of the chalice.
Good morning from me as well. Each time we sing together, I invite you to find a posture that enables free breathing and relaxation. Here's our first song together, Dona Nobis Pacem.
At People's Church, when we light our chalice, we invite everyone in the service to type into the chat box that they are lighting a chalice and where. The words would usually be, a chalice is lit in, and then your neighborhood, your city, your street, wherever you are. So this morning's chalice lighting is by Cooper Garrett. O divine love, with the kindling of this flame, may we realize and love our true selves, our true round belly selves, our true bags under our eyes selves, our true naturally hairy selves, our true wrinkles on our skin selves. May our self-love help keep our chalice ablaze. I cannot do matches, so here's my chalice. You can pretend that it is lit. I'm very sorry about that.
I'm Diane Melvin. I'm the Director of Religious Education at People's Church. And this story came through me in the North Woods of Northern Michigan last weekend. As Hawk flew over her territory. She noticed something unusual in the field below her, and as she swooped down for a closer look, she saw what appeared to be a blue clump of fabric lying in the middle of the path. As she continued along the path, she noticed another clump of fabric at the entrance to the forest, and this one was red. Alighting in a nearby tree, she noticed a worn down section of plants, almost like a nest. It appeared as though someone had sheltered there for a while. Hearing movement in the forest, Hawk scanned the area ahead when she noticed a human climbing a tree. The human let out a loud wail filled with anguish while holding tightly to the tree trunk. Next, they untied a string from around their neck, and abruptly an orange cape fell from their body through the branches to land into a crumpled heap upon the floor of the forest. Immediately, the person straightened their shoulders back a bit as if an enormous weight had been shed. As their shoulders lifted, a warm light rose and shone out from their chest. While climbing back down the tree, the human began to hum a lovely, spirit-lifting melody. As they continued down the path, Hawk took to the air to better observe the situation, as now their curiosity was piqued. It wasn't long down the trail before the human crumpled over near the base of a large oak tree. Their sound changed to wailing once again. Tears streamed from their eyes and sobs escaped their lips. After some time, they untied the string from around their necks, and this time a deep purple cape fell from their shoulders to heap upon the ground. And as they stood, Hawk noticed that the light shone a little brighter from their chest, and they stood a little taller than before. Finally, when the person arrived at the intersection of the river, they dove into the cool waters without hesitation. Tears mingled with the current until sobs transformed into laughter. At once, the brook was singing joyous songs as the human was swimming, diving, and swirling freely in the cleansing waters. As the person emerged onto the bank of the river, they stood upright and shone even brighter and taller than before. The pure golden light shone so brightly from their chest, Hawk could hardly believe the transformation. Transfixed, Hawk landed nearby and asked, "Hey, what is it that you shed along this path?" And the person looked levelly at the hawk and declared, "I shed the layers of expectations, responsibilities, and burdens that others have placed upon me. With each cape that dropped, I released others' ideas of how I am expected to look, to feel, and to act. I released my fears of inadequacy as well as the fear of being too much. I walked away from narrowly confining ideas about my body that do not match my inner truth. I dropped other people's ideas of who I am and who they think I should be. Hawk showed surprise in her eyes and then asked, "What is that light shining forth from you?" "With each layer shed," replied the human, "the light of my true inner nature shines brighter. Cleansed in the river of truth and freedom, all falsehoods are washed away." One last look into the piercing gaze of the hawk reflected the wisdom that the person needed to hold dear as they continued down their life's journey. Anytime they began to feel burdened or strangled once again by external expectations, they just needed to remember to untie the cape from around their neck to experience the freedom inherent when one's true self is allowed to shine forth and lead the way.
Thank you, Diane. So now is the time to introduce our offering. And the way I do that is usually by sharing a way that people's people are generous. And so now I get to do that with an audience and brag on the good people of People's Church of Kalamazoo. Over the past few weeks, generosity has looked like a church administrator coming in on his morning off to make the internet work, which happened this morning. It looks like People's people teaching me how to build a fire in the snow and giving their good quality firewood to our bonfire we had last week to burn away the last year. It looks like the meal program that we've set up where the people in the church who have time and a talent for cooking deliver meals to those who are overwhelmed in this season. It looks like people who are blessed with enough, giving extra financial gifts to the church and to the minister's discretionary fund, while those who do not have enough to make up for those who cannot sustain the pledges they made or who have had financial hardships, so we can care for one another and keep this church in a strong financial position. I trust that there are similar stories that could be told about Ann Arbor, about Brighton, and about the Mount Pleasant congregations this morning, but I do not know them. So I trust you to know them in your heart. And I invite you all to keep being the generous people that you are. The offering will now be received.
The music for the offering this morning is a piece called Home by Ola Yelo.
Each Sunday morning, we join in giving thanks to all that sustains us. The words for this will appear in your chat box, and we can read them together. From the countless gifts we each have been given, gifts of life and love and sustenance, we bring these small portions to share in the works of love, which none of us can accomplish alone.
Our meditation today is Prayer for Bodies by Sean Parker Dennison, with a few adaptations for these pandemic days. They write, "There is no life without the body. There is no prayer without the body. We invite all bodies into this space, which we make sacred with our presence, with the presence of our bodies. Your body is welcome here, holy, just as it is." How does your body feel right now? How would your body like to pray? Would you like to touch the earth? Would you like to take a smooth, easy breath? To close your eyes? Would you like to lie on the floor or simply bow your head? Here, we respect all bodies and every body by waiting for consent. Do you consent to be in relationship with the sacred? Do you consent to engage with love? Do you consent to have your prayers answered? And if you don't consent to prayer today, you're invited to hit the mute button or to step away from your screen. This element of our service will be done in about 5 minutes. Spirit of life, we ask that you bless our bodies. We give thanks for our bodies, full of joy and wonder. We thank you for the thousands of ways we can play with, decorate, and inhabit our glorious one-of-a-kind bodies. We ask for the strength to be shamelessly embodied. We pray to know the love that never fails, love that is unoffendable, love that fills our bodies with joy. How would you like to be with other bodies in this moment of prayer? Would you like to be touched? To hold hands? To put your hands on a shoulder or feel a hand on yours? Would you like to remain alone? Would you like to be wrapped in someone's arms? Find a way now to ask for what you want and achieve consent in this moment of prayer. And if you yearn for touch but are alone, I invite you to hold your own hand or to cradle your own head gently, lovingly. Spirit of life, we ask that you bless our desire to be connected. We long to relate to other bodies with all the love, joy, beauty, and learning possible through connection. May we be filled with gratitude for the differences among us as we learn to love with all our senses, elated by the beauty and holiness enfleshed here among and within us. Return your attention to your body, to this sacred body. Are you still aware? Are you still here with us in body and in spirit? Here there is no division, no hierarchy. You are body. You are blessed and beautiful. Bodies need not be still. Prayer need not be still. Do you want to pray by moving? Does your praying body want to stretch, breathe, dance, sway? How do you want to bless your body, which is itself a blessing to you? Embodied love. We wiggle and stretch. We hold ourselves still. We tense. We relax. We blink our eyes. We expand our lungs. Our heart beats. We are grateful to be bodies. So often we forget the sacred site of our being. Help us remember our bodies are to be enjoyed, celebrated, and loved. There is no life, no prayer without this holy flesh. May we remember to treat our bodies with reverence. Together, we pray and worship as bodies. All bodies, all people, all creation are invited to the table set for us by love and by our ancestors. Here, we give thanks for each of us, for all of us, for all the parts of us, one body, connected by covenant, which is embodied love.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving
Today
kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at
Today's first reading is I Am Running into a New Year by Lucille Clifton. I am running into a new year, and the old years blow back like a wind that I catch in my hair, like strong fingers, like all my old promises, and it will be hard to let go of what I said to myself about myself when I was 16 and 26 and 36, even 36. But I am running into a new year, and I beg what I love and I leave to forgive me.
Our second reading today is God Took a Bath by Cynthia Rylant. God took a bath with her clothes on, her robe to be specific. Why did she do this? She was shy, that's why. A little self-conscious about her body. God wasn't always this way. She used to be free as a bird, running stark naked everywhere. She never thought about bodies at all. Then these things started coming back to her. The whole misunderstanding with Adam and Eve, then circumcision, then talk of everybody being made in her image, until she got afraid to look in a mirror. Everybody had such high expectations, and now she was a little insecure. Could be she was flabby. Love handles on God would have to be huge. So she kept her robe on. Our third reading is Susanna by Anne Porter. Nobody in the hospital could tell the age of the old woman who was called Susanna. I knew she spoke some English and that she was an immigrant out of a little country trampled by armies. Because she had no visitors, I would stop by to see her, but she was always sleeping. All I could do was to get out her comb and carefully untangle the tangles in her hair. One day I was beside her when she woke up, opening small dark eyes of a surprising clearness. She looked at me and said, "You want to know the truth?" I answered yes. She said, "It's something my mother told me. There's not a single inch of our whole body that the Lord does not love." She then went back to sleep.
I am here, I am whole as I am. I am safe, I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. I'm as perfect as can be. I am here, I am whole as I am. Nothing can illuminate darkness like a serenade. Nothing can make peace like a song. We got a ways to go, but then we're closer than we've ever been. So let's walk together on and on. I am here, I am whole as I am. I am safe, I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. I'm as perfect as can be. I am here. I propose a family that looks a lot like you and me, including all the people that we love. Then we'll take a photograph of everybody as they laugh, put it in the book and title us. I am here, I am whole as I am. I am safe, I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. I'm as perfect as can be. I am here, I am whole as I am. May seem just like a song, may seem just like a thought, but it soon will take hold, become a truth that's taught for generations, generations, generations. I am here, I am whole as I am. I am safe, I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. I'm as perfect as can be. I am here, I am whole as I am. I am here, I am whole as I am. I am safe, I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. I'm as perfect as can be. I am here, I am whole as I am. I am here, I am whole as I am.
Thank you, Savannah. So the messages come this time of year as they always do. The special offers on gym memberships, the diet tips, the urging to make a new you in the new year, and so on. And this year it feels like even more because there's been this steady stream of warnings and jokes about weight gain since March, since most of us started staying home much more, since many of our forms of movement, like group sports or walks with friends, the gym, the pool, exercise classes were closed or not worth the risk. Beware the quarantine 15, the COVID-19 pounds. Try this cleanse or this diet, and so on. And then we mix in the messages that so many of us have received since birth about what beauty is and how we need to punish ourselves to get it. And we have a especially toxic brew of I'm not good enough right now. Constant reminders of how we fall short of some impossible ideal. It is too much. And our faith offers us a message that is not about weight loss or cleanses or altering or punishing our bodies until they conform. As Unitarian Universalists, we affirm and promote the idea of the inherent worth and dignity of every person. There are no asterisks in that statement. Every person, no exception, no matter size or shape, skin color, hair texture, every body, every single body is a good body. Every size, every ability. Human worth, our worth, your worth, is not measured by the number on a scale or the size of your clothes. Your weight is not a measure of your morality or your value. Every body is a good body. So many of us know this in our heads, but do we know it really in our hearts, in our bones? Do we move through the world with certainty about our value and gratitude for our bodies? Do we consistently feel joy when we catch ourselves in a mirror or look at pictures of ourselves? Do we understand every inch of us as beloved? I don't, at least not most of the time. Too often I move through the world with an unkind internal monologue full of criticism about my body, the reciting a litany of imperfections. And maybe this is your story too. I've been working for the past few years especially to treat my body as kindly as I would a loyal friend. I haven't arrived yet, and I might never, but today I'm offering you some things I've learned on this journey. And before we get far in a conversation about appearance and about weight, we need to talk about health. Because in our culture, we often use weight as a shorthand for health. Too often, a concern for someone's health is used as a justification to treat a fat person cruelly. And the truth is, one cannot tell how healthy someone is by looking at them. Our bodies are complicated biological systems. A single measure like weight cannot determine health. People of all sizes are healthy. People of all sizes are unhealthy. And using weight as a shorthand for health is not true, and it is cruel. And the way medicine works in our country, the way the healthcare system operates, and add in the brew of misogyny and all of the things, and patriarchy, medical providers are often part of the hostility directed at fat people in our culture. Often they can't see beyond a patient's weight, and needed medical care doesn't happen. So many fat people can tell a story about going to the doctor for a specific need, like abdominal pain or difficulty breathing or pregnancy, and being met with a lecture about weight loss. The medical care that fat people receive is worse than the care that straight-sized people receive. Care comes later because fat people often have to visit multiple doctors to find one who will take their concerns seriously and not just lecture them about weight loss. Doses of painkillers and chemotherapy and so many other drugs that we need, the dosages are not precise for fat people because there is no requirement for drug manufacturers to test to figure out what the dosages should be for people with larger bodies. Many MRI machines and other medical devices can't accommodate larger bodies. And surveys show us that doctors believe that fat people are more likely to lie about pain and other symptoms, which then impacts the care they receive, and so on. And of course, all of this is worse when the fat person seeking medical care is Black, or a person of color, or transgender, or disabled, or poor, or doesn't have good medical insurance. And this breaks my heart. There are databases listing doctors who are compassionate and thorough in their care for fat patients. And it's a good thing that such resources exist, and it's tragic that they are necessary. Every body is a good body, Every person deserves quality medical care. And this is just one tiny area, tiny piece of how people who are larger suffer in our society and in our culture. It's really terrible. So our medical system clearly has work to do to treat everyone with care and compassion. And so do all of us. How do we live as though every body is a good body? We start by treating our own bodies gently, as though they are the constant companions they are. It can be easy to think that our bodies don't matter, that there are containers, that what's on the inside is what matters, that who we are really is our thoughts and ideas and emotions, but we really can't separate ourselves from our bodies. Our bodies are the sacred site of our being. They matter too much to be treated with the casual cruelty that so many of us have been socialized to deploy against them. If only I lost some weight, if only I looked younger, if only I had a different nose or height or hair or skin or elbows or ears or eyebrows or whatever part you have declared to yourself not good enough. This cruelty doesn't get us anywhere. Diets don't work. Punishing ourselves for not meeting some ideal is not helpful. In a beautiful essay entitled Dogs, Cats, and Dancers, Thoughts About Beauty, science fiction and fantasy author Ursula K. Le Guin writes, "There are a whole lot of ways to be perfect, and not one of them is attained through punishment." She continues, "I think of when I was in high school in the 1940s. The white girls got their hair crinkled up by chemicals and heat so it would curl, and the black girls got their hair mashed flat by chemicals and heat so it wouldn't curl. Home perms hadn't been invented yet, and a lot of kids couldn't afford these expensive treatments. So they were wretched because they couldn't follow the rules of beauty. Beauty always has rules." She continues, "It's a game. I resent the beauty game when I see it controlled by people who grab fortunes from it and don't care who they hurt. I hate it when I see it making people so self-dissatisfied that they starve and deform and poison themselves. Most of the time, I just play the game myself in a very small way, buying a new lipstick, feeling happy about a pretty new silk shirt." There are ways that the beauty game can be fun and useful. I, like Le Guin, enjoy a lipstick, and I know that it also helps people hear me better in services or other places where I want to be heard, because most of us unconsciously lip read. But I try to remember that beauty is in many ways a losing game, designed to weaponize our own self-dissatisfaction into consumption, making us punish ourselves, which Le Guin reminds us is never the path to perfection and joy. And we do punish ourselves, many of us. Sometimes it's cruel words. Sometimes it's bigger, the things we won't allow ourselves until we measure up in some way. Nicole Byer is a comedian. She is a fat woman, and she's the host of Nailed It, which is one of the things that has been giving my family joy over the last few months. It's a baking competition show for people who are terrible at baking, and it's very fun. And she has written a book this past year, called Very Fat, Very Brave. It's humorous essays and bikini photos. And in it, she tells a story about when she was a child. Her father wanted to visit family in Barbados, and her mother refused, saying that they would only go when the mother was thin enough to wear a bikini. And she never thought she was. She never measured up. and she missed her chance to travel. And that story breaks my heart, allowing the beauty game to deny connection and joy. And that's a big way, but I think of all of the small ways that I, and perhaps you, have chosen self-dissatisfaction and punishment over connection and joy. So Byer's book is a challenge to that story from her mother. It's essays about being at home in a fat body, interspersed with dozens of pictures of her in a bikini, challenging the messages her mother and so many others have received about who gets to wear that piece of clothing. Any body in a bikini is a bikini body if wearing that bikini gives it joy, because every body is a good body. At another point in her book, Byer responds to the question, "How did you get your confidence?" She writes, "I guess I've more or less just decided that life is already really hard, and I don't want to spend it hating what I see in the mirror, because the world can be cruel. So why not at least be nice to yourself?" Why not choose less cruelty? Why not at least be nice to ourselves? Why not remember that there is not a single inch of your whole body that is not beloved? Why not enjoy, celebrate, and love our bodies? So I invite you, as the new year begins, to resolve to befriend your body, to treat it kindly or continue to treat it kindly as you would any lifelong friend and companion. What might that look like? It might look like affirmations. When you see yourself in a mirror or a photograph, say aloud or think something kind. Maybe criticism sneaks in first, but don't let it have the last word. If you've done something amazing, like give birth or run a 5K or survive cancer or another serious illness, or make it through life with a chronic illness, thank your body for that. I've recently completed nearly 6 years straight of either pregnancy or nursing my 2 children, and my body is different now than it was before that. And I work hard to thank my body for growing and nourishing 2 small humans whenever I can. You can thank your body for waking every day, or for keeping your heart beating without even you having to think about it, which is such a miracle. Or use one of the affirmations that Savannah sang for us so beautifully earlier. I am whole as I am. I am loved as I am. If we say something enough, it becomes our truth. The truth we don't just know in our heads, but in our hearts, and our bones, and our actions. So as you take gentle care of your body, let the soft animal of your body love what it loves, the poet Mary Oliver says. Life is too short and too cruel to spend it all denying ourselves pleasure. So listen to your body. Does it want to stretch, breathe, dance, sway? How do you want to bless your body, which is itself a blessing to you? Is there a way to unleash a cape that is holding you back? Use your senses in pursuit of joy. What is delicious? What smells great? What feels luxurious? What music or voice do you want to hear? What is beautiful? What would it take to trust these answers without judgment? This can be a hard practice. Usually when I stop to tune into my body, I realize I'm thirsty, that I'm sitting in a way that is uncomfortable, and that I'm cold. So I take a short break to stretch or have a snack or take a lap around the room. This is a small practice, but checking in with our body's wisdom to ask what our bodies need and how we can care for them, rather than looking to the beauty game, is a way to treat our bodies like a good body. And as we work to treat our own bodies kindly and generously, we can also work to treat every body as a good body. In many circles, fat phobia, or prejudice against fat folks, is present and acceptable. So here are a few things all of us can do to make it better. When diet talk breaks out, offer a gentle challenge or a differing opinion, or change the subject. I love you any size you are. We can't know how healthy someone is by looking at them. Especially avoid diet talk in front of children. Don't ask people if they've lost weight unless they have clearly invited you to talk about that with them. Don't assign morality to food. There is no such thing as a good food or a bad food. Each of us have different foods that give us nutrients and that give us joy. Don't laugh at fat jokes or consume media where fat people are ridiculed. And talk to others about this. If you are straight-sized, ask your medical provider about their care for fat people. If you are straight-sized, ask your fat friends how you can support them. If you are fat, connect with others who are working to enjoy, celebrate, and love fat bodies. This is a long list. Maybe pick one or two and see if you can live them out. I imagine a world where we know that our bodies are good, holy, worthy, just as they are. I imagine how many more interesting, creative, and profound thoughts each of us would be capable of if we didn't have a cruel internal monologue, if we untied all the capes that hold us back, like in our story. I imagine how much more we could do and be and connect and love if we spent less time trying to make ourselves measure up. I imagine how much more kind and just the world would be if all of us began by taking gentle care of ourselves and our bodies, and then extend that care out to our immediate circles, our communities, our world. I know that some of that is fantasy. I know that I will probably never be totally free of the cruel monologue, that striving. We can't unlearn everything that capitalism and misogyny has taught us. But I also know that letting go of what I said to myself about myself is part of what it means to live my faith, our faith, and make my values, our values, real in the world. So, dear ones, I offer you a resolution for this new year that you will not see advertised. I invite you to resolve to know your body as good, to treat it kindly. I invite you to help create a world where every body is good and treated with care and dignity. May it be so. May we make it so. And amen.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's
one of the things that I love about Zoom worship is that there's like this parallel sermon happening in the comment thread the whole time, or this whole thing that I'm preaching, with so many other useful resources, so many enhancements and expansions on the small bit of truth that I was trying to lift up, including things like this isn't only about body size, it's about blemishes and all of the different ways, disabilities, all of the different ways that we can beat up on ourselves for not fitting something that is not a thing that people fit. So I invite you all to go into the world with a little bit more kindness, especially to yourselves, but also to everyone else. So let us go in peace and go in love.